Hey guys, SPY DIY here with another unboxing. And so it's been a while guys, so I apologize for that, but I finally have a chance here. We're going to do an unboxing followed by a installation and overall review of these LED headlights by oEdRo. So they seem to be a pretty new company on the market. They sent these over for me to give a try here and open them up and review it for you guys. Down here you can see that the IP67 waterproof rating. It says adjustable socket, and what that means is once you've inserted it within the headlight housing, that you can take this and twist it to adjust how the light is reflecting from inside of your housing. I'd assume that that would help with where the light is cut off and at what angles. So we'll have to dive a little bit deeper into that with the actual install. You'll see right here that they have the lights by themselves will be a cool white, similar to the aux beam installation that I did that I'm going to compare these two as well. You can see here cool white is what the headlights will be by themselves, and they've also included golden light here and light blue. So these are tint films that you can insert over the actual, this has a small, you can see the reveal right here. It has a glass casing around the actual LED. You can slip the film in there to change the color if you so choose. As far as first impressions, this box feels pretty premium. I'll try to tilt it in the light here. You can see it's kind of that matte texture. So it feels a little bit higher quality than some of the cheaper prints that you see on boxes. It just feels like cheap cardboard. Definitely has a more premium feel to the box, and it has a very tight suction here. So it does have a really nice feel. When you open it up, you're greeted with just some, white padding here to protect everything. Here's the product manual. I like what's included. It's nice that they do have the film, so if you want to change the color, you can. I was also able to go into the product manual here. They do have this broken down by, you can see H4, H7, the varying kind of, we'll say, other miscellaneous standards, and then also H16, which looks like a EU, which could be a Euro standard, and PSX 24. So it looks like as far as adaptability and the depth of different types of connectors they support, it seems to be pretty wide, which is great. So it seems like it's very likely that no matter what your connector is, that you'll be able to find a kit with them. This is already plug and play. This is the same vehicle I did my aux beam on. Again, you can see that video. I'll link it up. This is the same connectors I used last time. The high and low beam for my 2008 Passat is H7. So that's what this connector is here. And that's what this kit is. They have it labeled on the top. You'll see right there. And then you can see again, as far as their depth of support, it's pretty wide as far as the types of bulbs they can support. So this is the H7 kit. As far as the overall build quality, being able to kind of pick one up here and really get to feel it and see the quality of materials, I'd have to say it feels pretty high quality. This looks like plastic, but I can assure you this is actually, it would appear to be like anodized aluminum. It's definitely metal to act as a heat sink. So it's not plastic, despite the fact that it might look that way through the camera. All of the gray here is also aluminum. And then there's these little pieces around the light. You'll see there's like a little ball bearing, and this is what my thumb is on right now is an insert for the H7. So it looks like depending on how this goes in, that I can kind of push this piece around. And if you watch, see the ball vanished and it popped back in. So it looks like it does give you a little bit fine tuning here. So once you actually have it inserted in the car, if the orientation isn't quite right, you can kind of tweak it afterward, which is kind of nice. And then I mentioned about the tint film. So you can see here that glass casing. So if I actually take this and loosen it, this is where the tint film will go. So once we get this off here, I'll just show you guys. So as you can see in here, see this slides up and down, and if you look, if I can get the camera to focus, right there, you can see there's a teeny little reveal in there. So that's where you'll slip the film in. This insert is glass, which is very slick. I feel like it would take heat better that way. It's a higher quality material. I feel like because no one will see it, they could have just as easily gotten away with like a very high performing plastic. But this is definitely glass, which is nice. So you put the tint film there, screw the red cap back on, and be good to go with changing the color of the light. It's like nice build quality, nice materials. Everything here is metal. This casing for the wire, as you can see here, it's definitely thick. Doesn't look cheap. It doesn't feel cheap. Nice connector. So it's definitely, from appearances, high build quality, nice product. And then when we actually get to the install, I'll show you guys how to put it in. I'll show you the comparison between these lights and the factory halogen. And then also, per the linked video, my aux beam set that I already have in there will show a comparison between one of the aux beam installed and one of this pair installed. I also want to let you guys know that the folks at oEdRo did give me a second set here. They are the 9007. You can see the check mark there. I highly recommend that you look up to guarantee compatibility with your vehicle. That may be, I believe 9007 is a dual filament, so it's supposed to allow for low or high beam. Just check your factory specs, but this is a giveaway. Really want to let you guys know that I really appreciate, all the viewership and following my channel. So definitely make sure to subscribe. I'll have a link at the end. But did want to let you guys know about that they were kind enough to give me an extra pair here. This is the same appearance as this one. You'll just have a different connector at the end here. Instead of the 2-prong for the H7, it has more of a larger plastic housing with 3 prongs in it. We'll focus on the low beams today, and we're going to compare the oEdRo to both a factory halogen bulb as well as the aux beam set that are also LED headlights that I have in here currently, and just compare them, contrast them, and see if this is the right choice for you guys. Okay, so what I've done here, you can see right here is my aux beam LED bulb from my passenger side over there. You can see it says aux beam there. So on the aux beam, this adapter, similar installation, just that they included, this is a plastic one. The oEdRo one is the same aluminum that you see on the rest of the silver here on the, we'll say, the headlight body. So that's a key difference there. And then just general design. So you'll see that the oEdRo has more of this, it tapers out. This is aluminum, as is this, just 2 heat sink styles, but they both come down to the same, you can see it here, plug style. So this is the H7 in this case for my vehicle. Same plug on both, same general style as well, pretty identical. As far as how you install these lights, first you'll see the first step is to take off your cap. This just has a cutout in it because I did previously have 2 headlight sets ago. I had HID, so I actually had to run wires through this. Just a personal preference thing, like that's one of the reasons I like the LED, because I don't have to run anything through here. I actually should tape this up so dirt doesn't get in, but remove the dust cap, and then you'll see in here, there's your opening. On the top, you'll see what look like 2 catches. That's exactly what they are. The hole is where the bulb will go, and right here, you'll see that there is a set of tongs. These will actually come up and be pressed similar to that in here once you've installed the first portion of this kit, which I'll show you right now. So what you want to do is take this piece and note where this tab is. That tab, if you look in here, will fit right at the bottom there where those two bent metal tabs are sticking up. So then you'll want to take that piece and install it in that way. So here you go. The plate or adapter is sitting against the vehicle. It's held in place by the tongs, which have been put up and then held into place by the top little catches there. And then what you want to do is actually insert the headlight straight in through the adapter, and it will actually catch on this little metal ball here. You'll feel it, and then once it's in the headlight housing, you'll just want to turn it or adjust it, and then look, preferably later at night, against a flat surface, just to make sure that the light is leaving the headlight housing the way that you would like. So what we'll do now is we'll insert this, just as I showed, straight. So you can see it inserted there. And you just want to give it a little bit of a push. If you just heard that, that was that metal bearing. So now you know that it's caught, which I do think is a nice feature, just so you know that it's seated correctly. And then here is your lead from the headlights. So what you will do is then on an H7 vehicle, you'll see down here, it should have something like this. That should be your connector. And then what you're going to do is insert these prongs into the connector like that. And that's what I love about LEDs. You should be done. That's as far as hooking the bulb to the existing wiring that the vehicle has. Making sure that the bulb is seated in the adapter. And then just take the wiring and you're going to just kind of gently, you don't want to pinch anything, but just kind of gently push the wires in like that, and then reinstall your dust cap, and you are good to go. So that's the installation. This was just as simple as my aux beam. So as far as installation, identical, similar time. Definitely once you get the hang of it, it goes super quick. The other thing to take note is that connector that connects to the vehicle. With LEDs, once you plug it in, the polarity, which just means like positive, negative for those two tabs, can sometimes, because they're not clearly marked, and that was the same for my aux beam as well. If polarity does matter here, you'll notice that the headlight will not work, and it's as simple as that. More often than not, you just need to unplug where those two connectors meet, flip the plug from the headlight, and then reinsert it into the car's receiver, and that's usually it. Beyond that, it should work. So if it doesn't, definitely reach out to, in this case, it would be oEdRo, or if it's aux beam, reach out to them. It could be faulty. Sometimes it happens, but that's a quick fix usually if they don't come on right away. I just wanted to point out here too, while we had all this stuff kind of together here under the hood, I did want to say again that it is really nice that the oEdRo headlights here, they are IP67 waterproof. I think that's really great. You do want something that's really tight to water and the elements, just because it is under your hood. The dust cap does quite a bit, but you never know what makes it through, so I thought that was really great. And sometimes you can get moisture in the headlight assembly there if it's not super tight. And it does have a 2-year warranty, as well as the ability to, as I mentioned, adjust the headlight bulb once you've inserted it. It's also worth noting in here that these are made of aviation aluminum, which is solid. That's definitely something that's going to stand up to, what essentially isn't anything too crazy within the headlight housing. Vibration, general stuff that plays into the IP67. But it's good that something's over-engineered. And it does say that the operating life is over 30,000 hours, which is great. It's a little bit darker. I wanted to give you guys a side-by-side of the oEdRo LED headlight bulb and the aux beam first, just to give you guys a comparison here. So on the left, this is my driver's side bulb. This is the aux beam. The oEdRo here is on the right, so this would be the passenger side. So with the oEdRo here, you can see that the two have very similar beam cutoffs here. The color difference, even just in looking in the headlight housing, looks pretty much identical. Lumens, as far as the output, generally speaking, is about the same, I would say, between the two. You can see that the spread is pretty similar as well. So you're just getting to see a side-by-side here. So for sake of comparison here, guys, just to show you, that's your factory halogen right there. And what's even funnier here is I'm actually still getting a little bit of bleed from the LED light on the passenger side. You can see, like, very plainly that the light is very warm, very low intensity. That's why these bulbs last a long time. They burn at a very consistent temperature. They don't give off like a whole lot of light, but it's a very warm tone. Versus, look at the oEdRo kit here. Very harsh cutoff, just like the halogen, but very much more so pure white, much higher intensity, better light, lower heat. That's a huge thing about LEDs. A lot less of a draw on the battery as well, as far as current used. So you're reducing heat and the current draw on your battery. So extending some things there. Because you have your headlights on every day. So another thing worth mentioning is, despite the difference in color tone and overall brightness, is also the life overall of the bulb. This particular bulb has a life expectancy of greater than or equal to about 30,000 hours. So these are, very much so just as long lasting as factory halogens, but while producing far less heat and also drawing far less current. That's why they're becoming more and more popular. I'll take the halogen back out and I'll do a road test with both the passenger and driver's side in the oEdRo bulbs, and then give some closing thoughts. So as you can see here, guys, good light beam, wide disbursement of light, both close up and fairly far away as far as like the sight picture with these. As I go through areas that are varying between being well lit and very low light conditions, the headlights seem to give a very consistent level of light where I would need them. As you can see, it's already reflecting off of the road signs above. A lot of that is from my headlights now. Overall, it seems to have a really good quality of light down road. And I have no complaints as far as what I can see in front of me. Obviously, it can only be within a certain, level of luminosity, because you don't want to be blinding oncoming drivers. So as far as like being within legal limits and having a good solid amount of light, I'd say they definitely hit on both. And I'm just going into kind of a lower lit area here to see if I can get a better idea to show you guys the light that they give off. So I'll just go in a loading dock over here. So a lot of this too, guys, is I need to get my headlights aligned a little bit. You can see they're a little crooked. But this is from about, I'd say 25 feet away. Pretty solid cutoff here. It's not going too high so as to blind oncoming traffic. Definitely has a good amount of light on the road. I'll back up just a little bit so you guys can see a little bit more of the light closer to the vehicle. So we're probably about 30 feet away here. You can see, and again, you'll have to bear with the fact that this is a camera video from from a cell phone and not, you know, like a GoPro or like a super high def camera. You can definitely see that there's light very close to the car. It is definitely enough to be able to see close to the car for things that, you know, like animals, stuff like that might approach from the side. But there's also definitely more than enough light shown down the road. You can even see it touching upon like the far loading dock back there. So definitely a wide angle of light. An important thing to note, guys, is to look just to make sure to see if you see this icon or not. It's not the green, it's not the seatbelt, it's the golden icon here, which was also shown in the brochure for the oEdRo set here. It does mention, just to double check to see if your vehicle might need a code canceller. In this case, mine does. Mine's a 2008. It could be that much newer ones, maybe let's say 2012 and newer, but I'm not 100% sure. It just may vary model to model, manufacturer to manufacturer. In this case, I would just have to get a Canbus relay, which is basically just goes in this circuit in between where the headlight connects to the car's receiver that you saw me plug into, those two pin slots for the H7 bulb. It would go in between those two, and it just tricks the car into thinking that the headlights are operational because, as you know, these headlights work, so they're on, but the car's computer system, because they draw so little energy, it will give this error code because the car doesn't think that they're on. So in that case, you just need to order, you know, the Canbus code canceller, and you'd be good to go. And that's just an important thing to point out with all kits. You just want to read them very carefully. My aux beams happen to come with that technology built in, and that's just a difference I'm noticing here between the oEdRo and the aux beam. On everything that I've seen so far with these, they're a good price point. I'll have the link in the description. Whether you decide to go with LED or HID, personal preference, I tend to sway toward LED just because, like I said, lower energy consumption, much lower heat, less wiring is involved. So that's really helping to extend battery life, because your headlights, you know, you have that stuff on every day. Or if you leave your lights on, stuff like that, little tweaks, making interior lighting LED, etc., can really go a long way. I'd say that these come in at a competitive price point. They're a great upgrade from standard halogen headlights. They're comparable to the other kit that I had, my aux beam headlights. I'll have a link for these in the description. I would recommend them. I appreciate you guys subscribing. Please subscribe below. You may have seen a watermark on a few of my other videos, and I've introduced myself clearly as SPY DIY. That's going to be my channel. The internet's loaded with a lot of, you know, noise, so really appreciate it, and continue to keep your eyes out for more videos to come. I definitely have a lot of exciting videos and other reviews to show you guys. So that's it for this headlight kit review of the oEdRo LED headlight kit, the H7, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks a lot.